This is the iPhone XR, a budget iPhone that was released alongside the iPhone XS and XS Max in September 2018. And with more than 46 million units sold, it is the best-selling smartphone of 2019, which simply implies that as at then, it pretty much has everything you might necessarily need in a smartphone with little drawbacks when compared to XS and XS Max. This smartphone has now gotten much cheaper since it's been almost 4 years since it was released. So let's talk about the iPhone XR now and see if it's still worth buying in 2022.
Subscribe is free. Subscription is free. They don't charge you for it. Just subscribe.
Design-wise, the iPhone XR is still one of my favorite iPhones with a very minimalistic look. It has a single camera at the rear just like that of the iPhone 8, so it's not too distracting. More on the camera later. It is made of glass on both the front and the rear with aluminium on the side. The rear glass has a glossy finish, which means it will show a lot of fingerprint smudges, but I don't think that will be much of a problem as virtually everyone uses a case. Although the aluminium on the side is not as durable as stainless steel on premium iPhones, my unit has micro scratches but it still feels and looks good. The iPhone XR is rated IP67 and not IP68, meaning it can survive in 1 meter deep water for 30 minutes instead of 2 minutes for the same 30 minutes. But the question is, who leaves their phone in water for that long? So overall, design and build wise, the iPhone XR is still a solid phone. When this device was announced back in 2018, the screen got the biggest backlash as it is an LCD screen that is just slightly higher than 720p. But using this device, you will immediately notice that it's not as bad as it seems on paper. It is a 6.1-inch LCD display with good viewing angles and proper color representation. Although it's not as vibrant as an OLED like that on the iPhone XS and XS Max, it is still a very good display. It is bright enough to be usable under direct sunlight and it gets dark enough to be usable at night. Watching stuff on this device is good. It represents colors accurately, and although the notch and bezel is a little more pronounced on this device, you will get used to it pretty quickly. Although the iPhone XR displays its biggest drawback on paper, it does not have a bad display by any means. The iPhone XR is being powered by Apple's A12 Bionic processor alongside the iPhone XS and XS Max. If I must say, this phone gets better with age. It currently runs on iOS 15. And with the iPhone 8 getting the iOS 16 updates, this means you will get at least 2 years of official software updates. However, unlike the iPhone XS and XS Max, this phone has 3GB RAM instead of 4GB. These numbers might come off as bad, but remember this is iOS, as numbers does not really mean much. This phone still runs perfectly that I barely notice any difference with it and the iPhone XS Max. This iPhone does not feel slow at all unless you use it alongside the latest flagships by Apple. It still flies through tax. Talking about battery, this is one of its biggest strengths. It comes with a 2009 42mAh battery, and you may think this is a pretty small battery, but remember this phone has a slow resolution screen, so the processor has smaller pixels to process, so the less power it drains. This phone still lasts me a day of average use. I get about 7 hours screen on time on average on this device. As long as your iPhone XR has at least 80% battery health, this phone will get you through the day on a single charge. The iPhone XR has a single 12-megapixel wide-angle camera that takes decent pictures and records videos up to 4K 60fps. The photos from this device looks good as it shares the same sensor with the iPhone XS and XS Max, and it just lacks the telephoto lens, which simply implies that portrait shots are always more zoomed out. But if you fancy the zoom-in shot of the iPhone XS, you can always use digital zoom. Talking about portraits, the iPhone XR can only take human portraits, but that works very well. It does not have night mode. This may or may not be a big deal. The selfie camera is still good enough in 2022, good enough for everything you need a selfie camera for. So to the million-dollar question, is the iPhone XR still worth it in 2022? My answer is yes. For the price this phone is going for in the used market, it is still a very solid phone to buy. Kindly subscribe if you haven't, like this video so that the algorithm will pick it up for more people to see. And until the next one, au revoir.